Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here. Back again, well, with a video that I hope will be fun. It's not exactly a repair video. Yeah, it is a repair video actually in this particular case. Listening to the stereo in my 1993 Acura Vigor, there is stock speakers in there that I'm pretty sure have rotted away down to nothing. You can actually hear quite a bit of buzz whenever you're playing anything, especially when people are talking. And I believe that's because the actual speakers have rotted away. Now, I'm not looking to upgrade at amps, any of that kind of stuff, because actually when I replaced the blower motor in this, I went back to the stock stereo over the aftermarket one that was in the vehicle, and honestly, I think that one sounds 10 times better. It was designed for the vehicle, and it utilizes all the speakers. So what I'm here to do, and I'm not advertising any brands here, what I'm here to do in this video is replace the speakers in my 1993 Acura Vigor. I'm going to go over some of the basics as far as, you know, it's quite common to upgrade the stereo system in your vehicle. It's something a lot of DIYers do, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to cover it. Also, I want to have a better sounding stereo in this car. I've grown quite attached to it. So I'll just walk through some of the basics of what I do when installing speakers, and hopefully that information will help you should you have the same job. Let's get started by taking off one of these door skins, getting a look at the speakers, and you get a better idea of why I'm doing this. I suppose the first thing we'll do is we'll start with a benchmark so you can hear what it sounds like before we do anything. Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, also known as ETCG. Yeah, I can't use real music or the YouTube bots will bust me. Well anyway, I think that gives you a pretty good idea, and I hope you could hear the bass when it was trying to thump, was just sort of breaking up and sounded pretty much like rattling a can. And we'll get this door skin off and I'll show you basically what I believe to be just disintegrated cones on the inside of there. All right, now this video is meant to be sort of a general video about speaker replacement. It's going to vary so much from vehicle to vehicle. So I'm not going to try to get into too many of the specifics of exactly what I'm doing on the Vigor. I really just want to cover the overall process. So as far as door skin removal, like I said, that's going to vary by application. But for the Vigor, we have got a little cover in here that needs to be removed. There are two plugs on the inside here that can be pried out. And then there's a few screws. There's one down inside the handle here. And sometimes, yeah, this will just come right out. And there's two where the door handle connects. And Vigors are full of hidden screws. There's one more way down here in the door skin. So if you go to try to pull something apart and it's not coming apart, check around for screws, perhaps hidden screws. They may be behind a trim piece, something like that. Like I said, this will vary greatly depending upon the vehicle, but with this Acura Vigor, there's one more screw hanging out down there in that corner. Now, for me, all I've got to do is, the rest is all held on by plastic clips, so I just pull back and lift up, because it's usually hooked into the top here. Watch if you've got like the door lock there, and then I'm going to bring you around and show you some of the innards. Okay, I can tell somebody's been in here already, but this door handle, there's just a little piece of plastic that hooks around that you can sort of pull out. So just be careful when you do this, because these parts can be fragile, and if they break, man, they'll set you back. Electrical connections, door lock, power windows, and lastly, courtesy light. And that is our door skin. So here's the driver's front speaker. It's exactly what I expected to see. You see all this area in here that's completely rotted away. What that does is it just basically rattles. Sounds like garbage. So I'm going to remove the speaker and replace it. I measured this out ahead of time. This is, I believe, a 6 inch speaker, so I'm hoping it fits into this housing. There may be some customization involved with this, not real sure on that. But the speaker actually screws into, you can see a plastic housing here. So let's get this old one out and put the new one in. This guy has 3 screws holding them in. Oops. I think I might have damaged the cone. Oh no. And there's a connector right down in here. I can sort of clip on the side. And there's my old speaker, which I save these magnets. I use them for different stuff. I usually have to take like a chisel or something and chisel them off of here to get them apart. But once I do, I've got myself something cool to work with. Now I'm just going to take my new speaker, and here's the other thing. The window is down right now. And one of the reasons I did that is because many times aftermarket speakers are going to be of a different size. And what might happen is you go to install the speaker and the back of the magnet sticks out far enough to where you got to roll down the window, and it won't roll down because it's making contact with the back of the speaker. So if you run into that, you'll know why. However, if you have the window down in the first place, which may or may not be possible on your vehicle, but if you have it down in the first place, perhaps it can clue you in as to whether or not there's going to be clearance issues later on. All right, let's check to see how our new speaker fits into the old hole. Oh, that is fantastic that it's virtually a direct fit replacement, and in fact looks like they left me some holes for the screws, so really that just needs me connecting up the wiring. Now this is important, and that is that you get the polarity correct with these wires. You want all your speakers to have the same polarity, and what I mean by that is, if you look at the back here, you'll see you've got one red, or let's call that positive, and one smaller negative. If you don't get the polarity the same on all your speakers, it's going to put it out of phase. And the way sound works in the speaker is the speaker moves air, and that air is interpreted as sound by your ears. It does this in concert with the rest of the speakers in the car, so they all work together to give you that sound. So if you've got one that's going up to make an air wave and the other side is going down because the polarity is reversed, it'll sound like garbage. So you want to make sure that all your speakers are moving in the same direction, and you do that by ensuring that the polarity is the same. So I'm going to note on here, it's probably best to have your whatever information for your stereo that you have to tell you which is which. But it looks like I've got one solid color wire here and one wire with a stripe. So the polarity can be switched. You just got to make sure they're all the same. Actually, this one does have a stripe. So I've got a gray with a black stripe and a blue with a green stripe. So I'm going to try to, not knowing what I have the rest of the vehicle, I'm going to go over to the other side and just sort of check what color the wires are over there. But like I said, you want to try to make sure that they're all the same. Something else I'll mention real quick is you may have the doors and stuff open for a little while. You might want to turn your dome light off. That'll keep your battery from running down, and you know what, it wouldn't hurt to disconnect the negative battery cable. However, if the vehicle is off, you shouldn't have to worry about it because the radio shouldn't be powered up. But you know, if you wanted an extra layer of safety, but as far as keeping the battery from running down, turn the dome light off. I didn't really get a whole lot of help here because these wires on this side are a completely different color, but there is something in common. Both sides have a wire with a black stripe. I'm going to go with that black stripe being the ground side, so that's the way I'm going to wire this up. Now my speakers, thankfully, came with a nice little pigtail to attach to the new speakers. Now one of them has a nice black stripe and the other one is just a solid gray. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to put black to black and the other side I'm going to hope is correct. There's a couple of different ways to go about this. This set came with some crimp connectors that you can put in line here. However, I'm not much of a fan of crimp connectors. I like to solder. I'm going to post a link in the description of my soldering video, but I'm going to solder everything on these wires to make sure that I have secure connections. Right, I have quite a bit of a pigtail here, and also on here. So I don't need all that wire because I don't need it getting tangled up on the inside there. It's unfortunate because like the ends of these wires were already soldered, but I'm going to try to keep this at a reasonable length. And as I said, I'm going to go black to black on these and just cut off the old connector. And I'm going to trim this down to a reasonable level so that I can still get the speaker out, but that it's not so far gone that I can't use it. And as I said, I'm going to post a link in the description to my soldering wires video. Very important that we put our shrink tube on before we go any further. All right, like I said, black to black, or in this case, black stripe to black stripe. And just to keep things rolling, I'm going to do one wire after the other. And you can, once again, use the crimp connections. It's quicker and you're done. But if you want the best electrical connection you can get, do this. I'm going to tin the tip. I always tin it afterwards also. This little extra step only takes a moment, but it makes the best electrical connections. So slide the shrink tube down. This is a better way of doing shrink tube. And we have a good solid electrical connection, shrink tube, doing everything right. Just need the speaker. We're gonna hook up our leads, which are sides, so they only go on one way. I'm just gonna sort of hook that around like it was originally. And it's almost like they knew I was gonna come in here. And they provided me with some screws that I'm gonna go right into the plastic holder. It's scary, it's like these speakers were made to go into this car. Now, be very careful. I'm using a power tool here, but you don't want to drive it into the cone. If you do, you just killed your new speaker. Oops. It looks like these screws are a little bit long. So I'm going to go back to the original size screws. Well, happily, I found a set of shorter screws. I'm actually going to tighten these down by hand now. Yeah, that's much better. Securely mounted. Pretty painless. Now, before I put the door skin back on, I'm going to check the sound and make sure they're working okay. Now, I'm going to mess with the fade a little bit, and I'm also going to try to do the balance to make sure. So I'm going to check both sides with these. That's just this speaker. Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel because I'm wearing the hat. And here on ETCG1 we talk about stuff, we don't do repair videos, so if you're looking for those, head down in the description, click the link for the EricTheCarGuy channel, and go watch all the repair videos you like. Greetings viewers.
viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel.
Well, that sounds a lot better. I'm still gonna have to go back and do the rear speakers, but the sound is much fuller. Sounds just a lot cleaner than it used to, because as you can see, these were bad. You can pretty much see right through them. All right, let's do the backs. Access to these speakers is a bit more difficult. Now, I shouldn't be able to pull up on this like this, but it's actually screwed in from underneath. So I'm gonna see if that screw's still there. And then there's like a cradle assembly that these sit in here. By the way, this is called a package tray back here. So I'm going to remove these assemblies and unhook them from inside the trunk. And once I do that, I can swap the speakers over and pretty much perform the same operation back here. All right, well, that's one way to do it. It's an Eric in a box. Let's get those speaker assemblies out. Yeah, these are kind of in worse shape. They're coming apart as they're coming out. That's not good. All right, empty speaker holes. Well, as we can see, our old speakers not only have none of the outer stuff left, but they are quite literally disintegrating around us. So I think the first step is to see if these will fit in these old housings. And if the mount is damaged, then it won't be very secure. Not cool, man, not cool. Eek. Yeah, look at the old drivers as compared to the new. There's a bit of a difference. So now if these fit in these old mounts, that'd be great. And it is unfortunate that this one's cracked, so the speaker's gonna have to basically provide the integrity for this. Let us see. When we get close, holy cow. It's like practically direct fit. This is crazy good. Yeah, it's real close. If I have to, I'll have to like drill the hole a little bit larger. That being said, I have to check how this is mounted in there to make sure that I get the orientation correct. Got my orientation the way I want it to be. Now it's a matter of trying to run these screws in, hopefully without doing any additional work. Yep, I might need to make those holes a little slightly larger. I'm gonna call that done. I am. I'm a little disappointed about this crack here, but there's really nothing I can do at this point. Right. Right. Now, we have these things together as they're gonna be. Now, same thing as what happened in the front. I'm gonna install the pigtails. I'm gonna go with the black stripe on the car. And then I'm gonna hook everything back up, put it all back in the car, see how it sounds. Glasses are fogging up. Now let's run them down and restore the electrical connections and see what it sounds like. All right, moment of truth. I'm calling that done. I'm going to admit that that was somewhat challenging, a little more so than I thought it would be. Mainly those back speakers were a little bit snarky. I don't know, it's almost like Bakelite that those rear assemblies are made from. Possibly messed those up when I removed them. Hard to say. Definitely an improvement in sound, just overall. I've got some bass. Now, you can go and put subs in and amps in and do all that stuff. It's not what I was going for here. I was just replacing the blown speakers so that it didn't sound like crap. I wasn't really going for high dollar, just the best sound. You can go nuts with this stuff. This is just, you know what? I'm putting some speakers in my car. That's all this is. There's plenty of other people out there that do things about car audio. And you know what? I don't know any right now. But if I did, I would definitely send you their way. But me, like I said, I've never really invested heavily into car audio, namely because for me, I've lived in areas where that just kind of invites thieves to break into your car. So I'm trying to stay low key. So all this stuff is going to be covered under the existing stock, mesh and everything else, so that when somebody looks in here, it's going to look like a stock car. It's not going to matter. Besides, I didn't have a whole lot of money invested in these speakers. I was really happy they went in the way they did. I mean, they were almost direct fit, which was nice. Your experience may vary, particularly if you're going with larger speakers, different speakers. I measured everything up before I went to the store. I looked on the outside of the box and make sure that it fit the specifications that were required in order to get these things to fit as closely as possible. That will save you a lot of work in the long run. Otherwise, you may be custom fabricating things in order to make something like this work. It takes a lot longer. Me, I was just going for quick, dirty, get it done. Quick, dirty, get it done, got it done. And now I have a decent sounding stereo in this Vigor. Anyway, hey, if you have automotive questions outside of what was covered in this video, I would ask that you head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. There's a welcome video there to tell you about all the amazing features that we have there to help you with automotive issues, should you have them. If you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. And I post repair videos every Friday here on Eric the Car Guy. So stop back for more of those. And I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and try to keep your sound clean. See you next time.